Forward from the reader. Hey guys, Hiro here. I know it has been some time since my last update, so I thought I would take some time here just to give you a quick update as to the reason behind the hiatus. As before, this message will not be included in the MediaFire download, and will only be part of the YouTube video. Alright, on to the explanation. Roughly a month ago, there was a plumbing issue in my house, causing some serious flooding, which not only destroyed the master bedroom, but also leaked through to the floor below that, which is where I do all of my recording. The water got into the walls, the insulation, the carpet, everything. Thankfully, the house was the only thing damaged, and most of our valuable possessions were spared. However, because of the damage, my bedroom, with all of my recording equipment, had to be gutted and remodeled. And so, into storage my equipment went, until such a time as it was appropriate to set everything back up, which is where we find ourselves today. I will attempt to get back into the swing of things as quickly as possible. Thanks to all of you who continue to listen. And a side note, if any of you are reading, have read, or are interested in reading my own story on Fanfic, you will be happy to know that I have made a little headway through this massive writer's block that I've had for over a year now, and I hope to have a new chapter published sometime in the near future. And thanks again, everyone. If you enjoy this reading, the chase in general, or Kudzu in general, maybe try giving him a little support. I'll link his Patreon in the description. I know you would appreciate any help you would be willing to provide. Anyway, back to the story. Chapter 30. The bloodstain had been cleaned from the wall. Bucky had noticed it as he had been moved up the stairs, carried in Lyra's magic, carried down the hall, and left in a large bed with fresh-smelling sheets. Barry had been waiting with a canister of concentrated food paste, calorie-dense, nutrient-dense, connecting it to the tube and releasing the valve. No matter how much he took in, Bucky continued to feel empty as his horn attempted to heal and his body tried to compensate for his extreme magical output. After dropping him in the bed, Lyra vanished, along with Bonbon, leaving Bucky alone with Barry and Derpy in the bedroom. Barry settled into a battered old love seat in the corner, located next to a large wooden cabinet. Derpy stood, her wings looking ruffled, her ears perked forward. She continued to stand until Barry cleared her throat, after which Derpy crawled into the bed and gently settled in next to Bucky, making odd grunting sounds and snorts that Bucky hadn't heard before, and covering him with a wing before settling into place. "She's nesting," Barry said, her voice thoughtful and gentle. "Mama Bird has an injured bird in the nest. She's going to be restless and aggressive until you get better." There was a single tap on the door, and then Sparkler entered. She crossed the room quietly, minding her hooves, and settled on the love seat with Barry. "I cleaned the blood off the wall, and there was a large puddle on the floor, too," Sparkler said, looking distressed. "Look, I need to know something before I get any further in my emotional involvement here. Where are we going from here? Are we going to be a family? I need to know, so I can make some decisions. I feel that I'm owed at least that." Barry looked Sparkler in the eye and nodded, but said nothing. Sparkler, seeing Barry's nod, sighed heavily and looked relieved. "Then I am in this for the long haul, then," Sparkler said. "I'm sorry. I just needed to know. It's difficult for me to get close to other ponies sometimes because of things that have happened. I found myself getting uncomfortably close, and then this happened, and it scared me." Barry leaned over and hugged Sparkler, quietly, no words spoken. "Lyra is reading the Fool's the Daring Do novel," Sparkler said. "I saw them getting settled downstairs when I came up here." "How are we going to afford all this?" Barry asked, giving voice to her thoughts. "Princess Celestia said she is paying for all this. Bucky was hurt doing his job," Derpy said, carefully squirming closer to the injured pony in her bed. "But you're not working, and you don't get paid unless you work. Sure, it was nice of them to give you some off time, but I know there are bills. Can I help?" Barry asked. "I have a little money from full sitting," Sparkler said. Not much. Maybe 100 bits it has taken me almost a year to save. Hold on to that, Derpy said. For a rainy day. Barry, yes, you can help. I'm not too proud to ask now that you're with us. We'll manage. We've always managed. The flock looks after its own. I can let go of my apartment, Bucky whispered softly. I trust you both to look after me, and I know you'll care for me. I don't need it. So how long is Bucky going to be down? Sparkler said. Doctors say a few weeks, Barry said. Damaged horns are crippling. Bucky, should we try to contact your parents? Derpy asked. No, they wouldn't care. I've been disinherited. Bucky groaned, raising a fetlock and gently touching his snoot. All I have is my name and a few meaningless titles. Barry grunted a few times, saying nothing, making an odd hitching sound in her barrel. She squirmed on the couch a bit, and then hugged Sparkler fiercely. Don't say that! Barry shouted, squeezing Sparkler tightly. Titles don't set you above other ponies unless you let them. They're a reminder of who and what you are, the responsibilities you have, and the obligations you have in life. And that is why I took on Deux Hooves and acknowledged myself as Dinky's sister. I suppose I'll be Pena's sister. Or, actually, I don't know what I'd be, and I don't give a damn either, Sparkler said. Deux Hooves is a title of shame, Derpy said, hiding her face under a wing, her voice tight and gritty. What? Barry asked in astonishment. I made it my own, Derpy said, still hiding under her wing. I've never heard of this before, Barry said, her tone incredulous. It means a pony that walks in horse apples, groundbound. My parents said it to me when they threw me out and disowned me. Derpy's tone was one of complete misery. Very old Pegasus slang, and I do mean old. The miserable mare shoved her face into Bucky's back and lay still. Well, damn, Barry grumbled. I didn't want their last name anymore, and there are worse things to step in, the sorrowful Pegasus said. I don't care what it means, Sparkler said defiantly. Call me whatever, just don't call me late for dinner. Barry planted a loud, wet kiss on Sparkler's cheek. I'd be proud to call you family. I gotta go, Bucky said. Oh no, you ain't leaving, Barry retorted. No, I gotta go, Bucky replied, his words full of urgency. Oh, that's why you brought a bedpan. I was going to use it as a helmet, but I suppose you can use it for more mundane purposes, Barry said. Bucky groaned, fearing the coming embarrassment, but unable to do anything about it. This was going to be painfully exposing, and a test of his mental endurance. For some reason, he was far more afraid of the coming bedpan experience than he was facing the rampaging mobs that had chased him in the foals. The thought struck him as being particularly weird. I'll make this easier. I'm gone for now. I'll be back for bedpan disposal duty. Somehow, I think it's better if I carry it, Sparkler said. She cleared out of the room in a hurry. Want me to pre-warm this for you? Barry said, reaching under the love seat. Twilight Sparkle flew towards home, her flight slow and careful. Her wings were tired. She might have Pegasus wings now, but she did not have Pegasus endurance, and she was carrying a load. Secured to her back was a foal, close to Rumble's age, a distinctive charcoal gray filly with stark blue-white hair named Cloudstreaker. As she flew, Twilight Sparkle rehearsed scenarios in her mind of all of the different ways she planned to rake Celestia over the coals. Sure, Celestia wasn't directly responsible for this, but her government agents were, and their personal biases had broken up a family. Twilight Sparkle intended to make Celestia responsible. The foal had become sick, as foals tended to do at times. It was a common enough problem, The problem came when Cloud Chaser couldn't prove her marriage, and her sister and Thunderlane had tried to come to her defense. An obnoxious group of biased social workers cried neglectful parenting and made a move, citing a number of reasons why Cloud Chaser was unfit as a mother. None of them particularly valid in Twilight Sparkle's opinion. Everything was jumbled and confusing, and actual details seemed scarce, other than the whole thing being a railroad job. Twilight Sparkle had very nearly leveled the entire building out of sheer anger, become righteously indignant, and finally using her princess status for what she felt was a darn good reason: social justice. Unicorns! Twilight groused to herself. Sometimes she really hated unicorns. The fact that she had been a unicorn did not escape her. Cloudstraker had been left in one of Philadelphia's many orphanariums, unloved and unwanted, one of the many countless foals within the local government's care. It had taken Twilight forever to find her, after she had been shuffled around so many times. Twilight streaked through the night, righteous anger fueling her flight. "I am not sure that I did the right thing, sister," Celestia said, up late, pacing back and forth over the rug, not wearing her shoes, her regalia, or her crown. Her face was creased with worry. "Technically, I was the one who selectively edited all of the problematic memories," Luna said, trying to calm her sister. "But I allowed it!" Celestia retorted, stopping in mid-step. "If left unchecked, the results would have been disastrous, I am sure," Luna said, justifying her actions. "I hate doing it, so does Twilight," Celestia retorted. She resumed her pacing, her ears back, the corner of her mouth twitching slightly. "It is an unpleasant task, of that there can be no doubt, but we cannot allow an entire town to become polluted by such thoughts, and so many other fools as well. Who knows what strange hungers might have incubated in such an environment?" Luna argued, settling into a lounge sofa. "Seems like a violation of trust," Celestia returned, closing her eyes. "Maybe, but you do not see dreams like I do, or the perverse hungers that already exist. We've saved many, and we will live with the burden of our guilt. We are immortal. It is our duty to carry this burden," Luna postulated. "Do you really want to scrap your Ponyville project and start again elsewhere? Another Philadelphia, perhaps? How did the city of lesbian unity work out? All those mares that might have been absorbed into a herd marriage had to go somewhere. The city of sour grapes. Or Las Pegasus, where the government that governs least governs best." "Stop!" Celestia cried, her ears dropping down beside her face. "Sister, it is not my intent to anger you or hurt you, but you've been chasing these ideas of yours since before I was banished, creating cities and trying to cultivate their growth. The Ponyville project has been your only true success so far. Allowing it to go to ruin because of one mischievous fool would be folly," Luna explained. "You are right, of course, but the long term has to reconcile with the short term sometimes," Celestia said, looking painfully guilty. "Cadence is coming soon, and she will make you feel better," Luna assured. "Buckminster and his friends show hopeful progress. The elements of a great friendship keep manifesting. Generosity, kindness, and I think we saw loyalty during the incident in Ponyville. When I touched his mind, the repressed sense of devotion was so strong already. If only we could get him to let go," Celestia said, changing the subject. "For me, loyalty is divided into 3 equal parts: duty, devotion, and dedication," Luna replied, looking interested, nodding her head slightly as she spoke. "I also take the antiquated stance that there is no loyalty to objects or notions, or even nations, only friends, family, and like-minded compatriots." Celestia stopped pacing and looked thoughtful, staring at a lit candelabra in Luna's chambers. Luna detested electric lights. "I owe no loyalty to Ponyville as a place or an object," Luna said thoughtfully. "However, I do owe the citizenry for their loyalty to me. Hence, I protect them, even through complicated moral issues, doing what is best for them. Even if I have some moral quandary or disagree with a course of action on a personal level, because of loyalty, I can rise above my personal objections and do what is needed for the greater good, much like you did about 1,000 or so years ago. And you were right for doing that. I can overcome my personal objections about that event because of my loyalty to you. Celestia looked very startled and surprised for a moment. Thank you, Luna. I do not know how to reply, Celestia said in an unsettled tone. Enough. This talk bores me. How about we organize an army of my guard, scout carefully through uncharted territory, after which we then ransack and plunder the kitchen for brownies or other mood-altering delectables? Luna asked. Summon your captain, Celestia commanded, smiling.